want to offer you guys a little education on what inert matter is and seed coatings and how that all relates to you. It's really important that you understand what this is. And it seems like a boring topic, but how many of you plant food plots out there? For any of you that do, you have to understand this. When it says inert matter on the back, just read the seed label. If it's 35% inert matter, doesn't matter if it's coating or what it is, that means that if you buy 10 pounds of seed, you're actually only getting 6.5 pounds of seed in the 10-pound bag. That's a fact. That's really easy to understand, I hope. If you're getting, we've seen it up over 50% inert matter for one seed company. Why do companies do that? Well, there is a little bit of truth in that you can get higher germination rates if the seed comes pre-inoculated. Inoculation though, for example, a 10-pound bag of clover, you would have only about a quarter, it's actually 0.16 pounds of that 10-pound bag should be inoculant. So meaning you would have 9.86 or 9.84 pounds out of that left in seed out of a 10-pound bag. That's not bad. You know, it'd be 0.16 is inert matter. 0.16 is coating. Inert matter, it's everything that's not seed. Doesn't matter if it's coating. Doesn't matter if it's weed seed, garbage, debris. It's anything that's not seed. Why do companies do that? I refer to it as the big lie down here at number 7. Seed companies do that because they improve profit margin. We know we own a seed company. So imagine if we put only 7 pounds of seed in a 10-pound bag for every 10 pounds we sell. Well, that's 3 pounds of seed that we can improve our profit margin by because we don't have to pay for it. We're just selling you garbage to make the place of it. That's why seed companies can get their seed into Walmart, the big box stores, because a lot of those stores dictate pricing so that unless you do this, unless you cheapen your seed blends, use cheap fillers, that's another discussion, like annual rye or perennial ryegrass, something like that. A little bit of seed that goes a long ways, but it's very, very cheap. Dwarf Essex rape is another cheap filler in a lot of seed blends. That's why we don't have it in our blends. But you look at all this stuff, it's just to improve profit. That's why even in the turf industry, they do this. So they'll have 50% of the seed is coated, 50% in the bag is coated. So you buy 20 pounds of turf grass and it says 50% inert matter and that's coating on there. That means you're only getting 10 pounds of seed. And so they'll take a bag like that and instead of buying 20 pounds of pure seed, where it's mostly all seed, 95% and above, that bag, let's say, sells for $50. And then the other bag that's still 20 pounds, but half of it's not seed, sells for $30. You know what's interesting about all that? The one selling it for $50 is actually making less than the one selling it for $30 because the one selling it for $30 is making more money for the amount of seed they're actually putting in the bag. So they're making $30 on 10 pounds of seed where the other one's making, and not even making, that's just their gross, but $50 on 20 pounds of seed. So that's why they do it, purely. We were shown that when we went to one of the seed wholesalers we interviewed to see if we wanted to work with them. They showed us the process. You know, this is what you do. We actually have to pay extra to clean the coating off. On some of our seeds, we have to pay $1 more per pound to actually get rid of the coating on the seed so we can sell you actually pure seed. But that's why people do it. Our coating's good. Again, it goes back to that a very little amount is needed. For example, I have to look at the numbers. In fact, I'll be right back.
Just a minute.
Hey everyone, we'll be right back. But pretty cool, the Earthway Model 2750 that I've been recommending for decades is back. What I mean, the OG version. They tried several different versions over the last 2 years, much to our disappointment. I finally got through to someone at Earthway, and I think a lot of other people did, and they brought the old one back. And so it's pretty cool. We believe in it so much, we're actually carrying it now. So we have them on our site, Pure Wildlife Blends, WHS. You can buy it at either one of those locations. So check it out. We rely on it. I know you can too. Now back to the video. There's something really exciting. We were running out of the old bags, so check them out and ask any questions you want on how to use them. You'll be very happy with them. Some will advertise that coatings are good. In fact, they'll want to differentiate between coatings and inert matter. So some companies, and to me it's kind of shady, but what they'll do is they'll take inert matter instead of including the coating as part of the inert matter, because anything that's not seed is inert matter. It doesn't matter if it's coatings or weed seed. But they remove the coating portion and they list the coating separate. They still have to list it, but it's a way of them looking at, well, there's only 1.8% inert matter in the bag, but the coatings are 34% or 9% or 20%, whatever it is. A lot of times they're saying it aids in germination. Some plants, not brassica, but clovers, alfalfa, bird's foot trefoil need inoculants sometimes. But it doesn't offset the amount of loss of 2 pounds of seed in a 10-pound bag. But even if they add inoculant to it, 6 ounces of powdered inoculant treats 50 pounds of clover, alfalfa, or bird's foot trefoil. Think about that. 6 ounces treats 50 pounds. Our perennial amount is 8 pounds per acre. So you're looking at really 0.1 whatever of a percentage point of ounces of pounds that you can actually treat clover with to get inoculant. So you don't need that. The difference is lime. Lime is what's coating that just to take up space in the bag. Lime is measured in tons, not pounds per acre. So those little colored, people even color it so it looks pretty. And that actually, marketing wise, is a pretty good tool, because you see all these colors in the bag and you think, wow, this is special. It's got color, and you buy it. It's designed to take your dollars, not to do anything good for you. So that lime doesn't do anything good for you. If it does anything good for the seed, it's so small that you would never notice it. I don't know what the numbers are, 1 plant per 1,000, 1 plant per 100, but it's something that's not noticeable to you in any way, or the deer, even if there was any good that could come from it. So I'm not going to say there's not, because someone would say, well, adding lime, even if it's 3 pounds out of 3 tons per acre, at least those 3 pounds do something. Well, yeah, I guess they do something, but it's not anything appreciably good for you. And when you're losing those dollars of seed and getting poor coverage from it, then it hurts you. So again, lime is measured in tons. Loss of seed improves profit. That's the key. Not to you, to the seed companies. That's how these big seed companies can get into Walmart and these bigger box stores. We won't be in those. We like to partner with smaller places. We have our seed dealership, Shawana. We have Harvey's in Carson City, Nelson Ag in Prairie du Chien, and Viroqua. Places like that. Out in New York. Check out some of our lists of where we have our dealers, but bottom line is we like to deal with seed mills and places that don't dictate the small amount of profit margins so that we have to cheapen our seed blends to get into. We won't be in those big box stores, and that's a good thing. That's why we call ourselves Pure Wildlife Blends. But loss of seed is a bad thing, and loss of seed not only improves profit, but it could hurt your potential plot. So say, for example, you have an acre and you need 8 pounds per acre of a certain seed to cover it. Well, when you drop that amount to 5.5 pounds of seed instead of 8, now if you have great soil, you get great rain, then that should fill in at a moderate pace. It's not going to fill in as fast as it should, but it'll eventually fill in over some few months. But when you plant less seed than you should, even on good soil, it opens up areas of soil that makes it a better environment for weeds to come in, because the clover is not creating a smother crop, it's a light planting. Now, if you have moderate soil, then that open spacing of exposed soil and chance of weeds is even greater. And if you have poor soil and you're putting a light amount of seed on, you're going to have a terrible, terrible catch, and it hurt you. What the seed companies are banking on is that everyone in the hunting industry, everyone who has a food plot, says their 3/4 of an acre is an acre. It's kind of like, what's your bow poundage on? Well, 70. It's 66, but let's round up to 70 because 70 sounds better. It's no different than your 1/3 of an acre. It's at least a 1/2 acre. And so you're planting a lot of times more seed than you should anyways. But again, this increases profit margin for seed companies. That's why they do it. What does all that extra lime do? Well, if it's a little damp, it's a little wet, that starts to soften. It can actually gum up your spreader and get into your gears. and that's a very bad thing. Number 6, it applies to perennials, brassicas, turf, and turf grasses. And that's becoming rampant. You know, there's no need for coatings on brassica, for example, turnips, radish, rape. They don't need to be coated. They're coating it just to take space in the bag to improve profit margin. There's really no real appreciable benefit to coatings. Again, always look at these labels. It'll tell you on those inert matters. We looked at our Big Boost Brassica and I think our PPP, our perennial blend. We were at that 1.2, 0.6, 1.6, right around there, pounds or percentage per acre, meaning that out of that entire 10-pound bag, it's literally 0.16 pounds is in there that is inert matter, that is some type of filler, garbage, junk. So we're still giving you 98.8% seed out of a 10-pound bag would be 9.84, 9.8, 9.9. That's what we give you inside a bag, where some of these companies are giving you, out of a 10-pound bag, they're giving you literally 6.5 pounds of seed. And they might even be a little cheaper, but cheaper is not always better. When you bring up to that, some of those turf industry, we know companies where there'll be 50% coating in the bag. They'll try to tell people you need 20 pounds per acre. So if this 20-pound bag is 50% inert matter and coating, meaning you really only have 10 pounds of seed, then you need to buy 2 bags. And sure, it went from $50 to $30, but you have to buy 2 of them, so it actually costs $60 now instead of $50. And you have to put out twice as much seed, which takes more time. So not smart. And it could gum up your spreader on top of that. To me, it's one of those hunting industry's biggest lie, is the food plot industry and what people are doing to hunters because they just count on them not reading the label. Always check out the label. Check for yourself. Look at some of the big box store brands. Look on the back. Look at what those percentages of inert matter are in coating. Include the coating in the inert matter because it doesn't do you any good. And that'll tell you a lot. Just go look for yourself. This is one of those you can just look at the numbers. Look it up. There's some good videos out there on what coatings do. And if the coating video is saying that there's good coming from coating and it's coming from a seed company and that's the only source that's saying it's good, then really check yourself on that. Look for independent people. Look for wholesalers that sell it, that sell anything. Look for university studies out there that aren't using some brand or that they're tied into some certain brand saying that coating is good for you, and you'll be on the path to finding your own information out about this and really helping you avoid bad food plot seed, especially as it relates to inert matter and coatings and other junk that might be in the bag. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate you watching the videos. We have over 600 articles on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com. It's all free. And I also appreciate those of you that check out our books. I have 5 books starting from 2012. We have web classes on the site, whitetailhabitatsolutions.com. Check out Pure Wildlife Blends. I really appreciate you guys that have already purchased our seed. We've had thousands of people. We've shipped to 48 states. We have digital land management through whitetailstrategy.com. That's taking all these ideas and concepts I put in the YouTube videos and digitally transforming your land for you. And then finally, we have our clients and client visits. We'll visit over 300 clients as a group this year. We visit anywhere in the country. Boots on the ground is always the best, but we have a lot of ways to help you, from free to client visits and all in between. Check us out again, whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, Pure Wildlife Blends, and whitetailstrategy.com.